Holy cow, I've caught up. RPG a day. Day number 15, question number 15. Guess what? It's day 15! Ha ha! The question is to describe a tricky situation that you really enjoyed. Or that you enjoyed. I just talked about having a character that got addicted to a magical drug and having to overcome it in trials and tribulations, which was an incredibly slippery slope, incredibly tricky situation. And this is with my boy Pete. Pete didn't really pull no, at least when it came to me, pulled no punches whatsoever. My character was taking the constitution damage. If my character died, my character would have died. I would have had to start again from the beginning. You know, I was like, at the time, I think, a 10th level mage. And oh man, that was a precarious situation to come out of. But I came out of it. I made it. And I enjoyed the rise, the ride. You know, it was like a roller coaster ride. Same GM. Was it the same wizard? I played a wizard and a sorcerer because it was a generational campaign. Like, things lasting a very long time, and you know, but we were building an empire, right? Like, we traveled up and down Sword Coast. We spent a lot of time in the Moon Sea. We were, you know, fighting battles, wars, all sorts of amazing things. We were rebuilding a city. We bought the city basically piece by piece while we were clearing it out of the yuckiness, bad guys and evildoers, whatever, the corruption. Building castles. We built a temple town. Oh man, great campaign, right? One really tricky situation that I enjoyed surviving, the tension, you know, but the heartbreak that came after, because you knew what happened is we constantly kept going back to Hillsfar, right? And in our kingdom, we weren't about slavery. You know, slavery was outlawed, and we were trying to abolish slavery. But Hillsfar is Hillsfar, right? Anyway, we were battling in the arenas of Hillsfar, and we had, at times, players or NPCs betting on us, and we tried to have, like, I guess, you know, little communications, but non-verbal, and, you know, how to play the odds, and we were getting just gobs and gobs of gold, and we were buying slaves, right? And that's how we built our army. We would buy the slaves and then free them and give them the option, you know, we'd free them and give them money to either leave and start their life anew, all on their own, or to join us, you know, and protect this idea of a free nation, which was awesome, right? And, well, tricky situation, we had just bought a fleet of ships, and we found a decrepit, rundown ship that we ended up buying because we discovered that it was a Spelljammer ship, right? It just needed to be repaired to be fully functional. We were like, yeah, we're gonna get some Spelljammer on, right? And we were sailing across the Moonsea. And at the time, again, this is my boy Pete. Pete don't pull no punches. He had 2d30s. We had to roll a d30 for the weather to see how bad the weather was or how good the weather was. And we each had a backstory that we had to write and present Pete with, the GM. And, you know, depending on the role, something really bad from your past would show up. Oh, that's a whole other tricky story. Jeez, so many of them. Anyway, with the fleet of ships, we got attacked by an entire wing of red dragons, a flock, a horde of red dragons. They decided, they saw our fleet, and there was enough of them to just dive down on half of our fleet. All the people we basically purchased and freed and hired, and all the ships that we got, just half of our entire brand new fleet wiped out. And that was the half with the Spelljammer ship. But my, was it a wizard or sorcerer? My character managed to survive because I magically had a moment of meta. I polymorphed myself into a black dragon, grabbed one of our lieutenants, and flew away. Now, while I'm not able to outfly red dragons, black dragons can breathe underwater, so I kept diving into the Moonsea, right? Trying to avoid the breath attacks of the red dragons and just trying to save this one person that I could grab, who managed not to drown because I kept popping up and then diving back. And man, hundreds of people and countless, just all of our shit and our Spelljammer ship. Our Spelljammer ship. It hurt